Yo, it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier. Today, we're going to talk about an episode of Drag Race with some people. These people are as follows. Just go in order. So, next is me. Introduce yourself, please.
It's me, Horacina.
God. So, you put a hat on. It looks, you look very nice.
I guess it's my turn then. Top two of the week, also known as Luke. And I'm glad that we waited around for Aratina to reveal herself.
Go on, Sue, go for it. You need to unmute yourself.
Right. I'm Sutaken, aka Adam.
And I am Floppy Bob, also known for today as Nina and Quarantina. And I feel blessed that we were given our first camera reveal from Arathina today. You're looking for that is a look. Like, check that out.
It's definitely a choice.
Maybe I'm the tooth of the week instead.
No.
We'll have to wait and see. So I didn't write any notes this episode. I tried one episode last time. I've given up for this episode. So you guys might have to help guide me through. But straight into the maxi challenge, isn't it? So she talk about. So Jada was chosen to pair everyone up, and I thought she did. Yeah, she's super nice. I thought with the pairings. What did you guys think about them?
Yeah, I thought maybe she was going to shoot herself in the foot when it turned out that her drag daughter couldn't walk in heels, and that was obviously a bit of a recurring theme. But and I wondered actually. I thought when I saw her, I thought they looked nothing alike. Like obviously they're of different races, but even just facially, like their shape, her face was different. I thought, how is she going to do this, girl?
No, I totally agree. Sorry, I thought someone else might have unmuted themselves. No, I agree. I thought it was kind of unfortunate. It's kind of bad karma because like she had been nice to everyone else and she got like the shittest one herself. It kind of sucks. Like if she'd been horrible to everyone, then got a shit one, fine. But she was really nice and then got a bit of a shit one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about like how they did the actual performances, I guess, in a bit. So what happened before? So like obviously there's a fair amount to talk about in terms of the looks and performances. But what happened before then? Anything else to talk about? You got 'em.
I always have something to say. I should change my my nickname from top two of the week to, I don't know, opinionated RS or something.
Jasmine Masters. Yeah.
bitch. I'll never forget that. No, I thought it was a nice. It's a nice. I like this challenge to happen sort of at this time of the season where we kind of know them, but then they're meeting someone that they don't know yet, and like the way that they've done it this season, and so they're kind of having to do the whole get to know you stuff. So you hear bits of their backstory that we haven't heard before that come up in conversation with, like in sort of I don't know, like polite sort of small talk when you're trying to get to know someone well enough to paint them and things. So I thought it was a nice way to get to know the queens again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was really sweet as well. Obviously, a super fan, so it's just like I mean, Yas was saying before we watched it, but it was just a really fun episode. Everyone was just having a time in their little lives, and everyone was really sweet. Like everyone got on really well. Like there was shade, but it was fun shade. Like it was just really fun to watch the whole time. And you're right, like them like opening up a little bit to each other and hearing their backstories. To be fair, I don't really care about the like a super fan's backstories. You know, I'm never going to see them again, but it was a nice chance to get to like hear more from the actual queens themselves. Yeah, and again, like you know, my thoughts on Jada have evolved over time. I thought she had that really sweet moment with her super fan as well. I don't know. I feel like we're seeing like she's opening up far more generally, right? So that was really nice to see. Yeah, we had loads of good moments. Go on, Harish.
So yes, I think I said that earlier. It's great when people open up and you could tell that it was a genuine moment rather than forced. I mean, we've been rewatching season 1 to 4 because we're gonna do a quiz tomorrow, and I watched the one in which Willem faked vulnerability and all that, and it's so cringy to watch that, but when it happens for real, it just makes you connect with that person at so many other levels. I mean, when I relate to it in other times. I mean, I remember when I fell in love with my partner, it was when he showed real vulnerability to me. So it's just great when you see that. So, and Jada is now my favorite, I have to say.
Sorry, I didn't unmute myself. That's a bold statement. That's a little bit of a turnaround. So Kurt saying in the chat that apparently in the mirror message, it was Widow who left, right? She said, "P.S. Heidi, I'm not leaving you anything like the other girls." Interesting. I wonder what that was about. And Sue, you look like you're going to have something to say a minute ago. Do you have anything to say about the Jada thing, Suter?
I think I'm on a delay or something. I liked it. I thought it was cool. Jada's like my second favorite now. Same like Horatio said that he likes Jade. This episode was basically written for Jada. The only thing I got extra is I wrote that I don't even know which girl was Grace, but I said her taste is questionable when she complimented Ruth's suit or shirt or whatever it was, because that wasn't a nice suit.
She wants to make it onto All Stars, doesn't she? No, I agree. What was I going to say? Damn it, my brain's gone totally blank. Sorry. So talk about Jada. Oh, yeah, that was it. So yeah, I do like Jada a lot more now. But like, I don't think she's really for me still, because like she's pretty much like a typical pageant queen in terms of like looks and stuff on the runway. So personality wise, she seems really cool. I'm enjoying watching her and everything. But for me, she's not a favorite, because I need someone like Crystal to like excite me with looks and things personally. But I do get why Jada's so good now. Like, I'm definitely starting to understand. Go on, Hirosh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not normally one to get behind pageant queens, but from what's left, she's the one I sort of now connect the most. I mean, I think Gigi's looks are more appealing to me, but she's just come down so much in my likability towards her that I have no other option but to root for Jada now.
Also on Gigi, I love Gigi's drag, but at the start of this episode, when they were counting up, like when they just were talking about the elimination and they hadn't got out of drag yet, and they were talking about, well, you've won 3 and you've won 2 and you've won 2, and then it's just the 2 queens that were left, and Gigi called them losers. Like, they would just say, oh, and then there's the 2 of us with nothing, but she's like, yeah, the 2 losers. Like, hold on, honey, be a bit gracious. So first of all, no, and then secondly, I mean, maybe we're not onto this bit yet, but fairly boring outfits, done really well, but like same, black and white. I don't know. Bit of a storyline, but dull.
Yeah, we'll go for the outfits properly. I don't know. I feel like with Gigi, though, it's kind of like more of like a British Australian sense of humor, right? Like a bit like dry, deadpan. Like, I don't think she meant it offensively. I think she was just like, the kind of her sense of humor kind of thing. But I agree. Like, I don't know. I do wonder how much of it's down to editing though, in terms of her likability. Because again, like a moment like could have been edited differently to make it seem more fun. I don't know. You go on, Luke.
I would just add that I am an Australian and I've cringed. So like, I don't know whether it being an Australian type of humor, I don't know whether that's all it. I think she's very young, and I think we forget that she's very young because she's very good. And then, but sometimes when you're young, you kind of accidentally call someone a loser when you really should have chosen a different word. I feel like that was more of it, rather than her brand of humor didn't come across. That's just for me. I thought also, just while I'm unmuted, on Jada being a pageant queen, when I think of pageant queens, I kind of think of Roxy Andrews, and she was never an actor. Whereas Jada can act, like she can do the whole improv and look over there, and it still gets me laughing. Like even on the replay, I what was it? Retiddle the I can't even do it. You know what I mean?
Retiddle the title and that rebuttal.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, but I mean, in terms of looks, I was talking purely in terms of like the pageant stuff. But I think like personality, she's fun to watch in charges, and I'm definitely enjoying her. But no, but I don't know. I don't know. I still think Gigi meant it as a joke, but it just didn't come across as funny personally. But yeah, it's a really good point though to make about her age. But also as well, like I think based on the sort of person she seems to be and her high level of like everything really, I think she's sort of afraid to be vulnerable and open up, which is has been a downfall of a lot of previous contestants, especially as the winner is kind of led heavily by the public's perception of them. And she's so like in the competition, I think it's making her come across a certain way, which is a shame because she started off one way and she's sort of it's falling down in people's opinions over time. So it's a bit of a shame. But sorry, Horatio, did you want to go?
I just wanted to say that to me, Gigi is on a different trajectory, maybe than those of say people like Britta or Widow, who seem to be like big dog, top dog in their own cities, whatever. I mean, we know that Britta is in New York City. So for them, it's the opposite trajectory. They realize that there's more queens that are equally amazing, and they are not performing to the level that they're used to, and they're coming crashing down. For Gigi, it's been the opposite, because I don't think she was top dog where in LA, where she's from, and she's just come to this competition and she's excelled at it very soon, and then it's got to her head very quickly, and it's not allowing for it to go, actually, I might not be that good. And that's what's, I think, playing against her.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's been quite interesting that as well, like how quickly people have not necessarily turned on Gigi, but how quickly like that perception has shifted. Because like even myself, like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, whenever it was, I just remember being like, oh, she's probably gonna win this, and like I'm okay with that. Like this is really good. And the last couple of weeks have just been a bit like, really? And it's kind of nice now that like Jada's kind of coming a bit more to the fore, because I think like this is kind of what I wanted to see from Jada like earlier on in the season. I'm so glad that we're seeing this. Like still isn't necessarily like, you know, still not like completely blowing me away. Like, you know, she's not necessarily like the kind of queen who I'd automatically be like, oh my god, like absolutely love her like right from day dot, but at the same time like super impressed by a lot of what Jada's doing. And I think she's kind of got the goods to go all the way. I think Gigi now might struggle, like you were saying, with kind of like the public perception, because unless she kind of, I don't know if she needs like an all-stars to kind of come back and be like, oh, you know, whatever. But yeah, either way. And we've got loads of people in the comments. I just realized as well, like we've got Cos and Kurt, I saw, and some other people as well. So yeah, hello everyone.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I just put on the Gigi thing. I've written down, Gigi, take a seat. This is the Jada show, and I want one of Yaz's prepaid standby tickets.
Oh, God. I was just going to say, yeah, hey, Cos and Robbie in the chat. Cos was asking where Dan is. He is busy tonight. I think he's relocating. But also, I don't think Dan loves the whole like remote streaming format. So I don't know how involved he's going to be. Like, hopefully, you know, he will get involved again. But yeah, I don't know if he's loving it. So yeah, so wait, so should we talk about like other workroom stuff, like other moments in the workroom before the maxi challenge, or go straight onto the main challenge? What are you guys thinking?
There wasn't really all that. I mean, they were kind of like, there was a bit of sort of quite light-hearted banter. I think this is kind of the episode we needed, because I think it was getting a bit, not necessarily toxic, but it was just getting a bit kind of petty and a bit, like, everyone just felt quite run down and quite negative about things. So this, I think, was quite a nice episode to kind of boost things back up and really celebrate queens for the things they're doing really well. Like nobody was really terrible this episode. Like, I mean, some that I didn't necessarily love, but like nobody was really like completely awful personality wise or drag wise, I think. So it was just a nice one. This is kind of like the shot in the arm that I think this season needed.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, especially again, like all the negativity and like dark stuff associated with it. It was nice to kind of have this episode, and like, you know, I think we all sort of said like it was just a lot of fun to watch, right? So hopefully it kind of continues like this. I'd be interested to see Untucked actually. Hopefully it continues to be as fun, but you know, I haven't seen it yet. So should we go through the transformations and / performances one by one? Probably best, right? So should we start with Heidi and Honey? Who wants to go first? Someone put their hand up, then they can always say, go on, Luke.
I don't mind starting us off. I don't think I realized quite before how much of a chatty Cathy I am. And it's weird because I've been working online all day. And so I've been talking at faces on screens literally all day. And I can't seem to get enough. Anyway, so there you go. And maybe why I keep butting in actually is that all of the talk on work I do is in groups where I'm leading the groups. So I'm used to the one being unmuted and everyone else being muted. So apologies. Do feel free to shut me down if I waffle like now. So Heidi, I thought Heidi's look. I really liked how present she was for her her superfan's backstory. That was really nice. I thought we're getting to see really nice things from Heidi. But the looks were like, and okay, so the superfan got her legs out. Great, that's great for her. Superfan's face was better than Heidi's face. Michelle was right, absolutely. Heidi didn't spend as much time on her own face, obviously. But the look was like, well, you just threw a dress over her. Like, here you are with all your sparkle and all of your stuff, and like, where's the glitter? Where's the anything to make it look like they're part of the same thing? And it just looked like like someone's sort of, sorry to say it, but like poor country cousin had come to the city for the weekend, and like this was all she had. I am a poor country cousin, by the way, so I feel like I'm allowed to say that. I've moved to the big city, so I'm a country boy at heart. But it's a little bit, I don't know, that kind of feel. What do you guys think?
I was just gonna say, I don't know why she didn't have a dress for her super fan. Go on, Rachel.
So my theory, I mean, I don't know this, obviously. I don't know anyone in the production team of RuPaul, but my guess is that they were told to bring 2 costumes for the for this challenge, and they would probably were told to bring something for a woman, for a woman size, because I mean, Gigi had it tailored for that challenge. So did, to some extent, Jackie, I think, and obviously Sherry. So that tells me that they brought it with them as opposed to having to do it. So my guess is that Heidi did have something that just didn't fit this person, and it was you could tell that she was put in the spotlight because when she was challenged, she was like, oh my God, I don't want to say that I didn't have a large enough outfit for this person. I don't want to, because she's just right next to me and her confidence levels are not great. So how do I go about it? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I was kind of guessing that as well, but I was kind of thinking maybe they were given the sizes of the people they'd be working with ahead of time. But then if they weren't actually chosen by Jada, then that wouldn't make sense. But then that would mean that she was at a massive unfair advantage. Oh God, poor choice of words. If that's the case, right? Like I can feel like Gigi did absolutely nothing, so she just brought an outfit. A month even made this one. Someone else made it. It's like 2 steps removed. She just bought someone else's outfit and then plonked it on a girl and did her own makeup on her. Whereas,
sorry.
No, go on, you go. Go on.
No, I think that's what felt so weird about this, right? Because the whole episode, they're like, wow, Jada, you made that? And then like Gigi's like, well, yeah, my mum and I collectively came up with an idea that we then gave to somebody to make for us, that we then just plonked on this girl. It's a bit like, because I mean, the coat was like was like 99% of that look, like beyond the face. So it was just like, you got the coat and then you got some shoes, and then like that's all you need to do, Gigi. Like, and they were attacking Heidi for like her use of time, and I'm like, what about Gigi? She literally like painted like a face, put a coat on someone, and was like, those shoes. Anyway, I have thoughts, but it just felt a bit weird to me.
But Bob, what about Heidi and Honey's look specifically? Anything else to say about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I mean, it was just, I actually think Horatio's onto something there. Like, because I think it was just so mismatched otherwise. Just like she, like, I think it was also just a missed opportunity, because even if Heidi had, brought 2 sort of similar things, like at least bring some of the like that material into her partner's look, like even if it's a trim at like the bottom of the dress, or like around like the hemlines of like the arms or the neck or something, like enough to like bring it out, or even like a little strip of it to be used like tie hair, like something that visually connects them. Because as it was just like 2 friends who've gone on a night out, like that's kind of, but like one of them clearly spent like 5 hours getting ready, and the other one was like, shit, we're going out tonight, fuck. But I did think she did a good job in like really boosting up her partners, at least, which was really good. Like you can see she did really care about her and making her feel good. It's just, it was unfortunate that the look didn't do that necessarily.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I thought it's interesting as well, like how well the makeup on Honey turned out, because obviously like Heidi's makeup hasn't been amazing the whole competition, but her partner's makeup was really, really good this episode. So it shows she has got the talent for it, right? And I think she is more talented than she comes across a lot of the time generally, but it still doesn't make sense why her partner's makeup was so good and hers still wasn't great. And then it was weird that her look was a lot better, but her partner's look wasn't good. Like it's just, I don't know, like no one had it down because of that. But yeah, Sue, what do you think?
Like about the makeup, it's probably because her drag daughter told her what to do. Because I love Heidi, but unless Rue tells her do this, she doesn't have any initiative. Like the gap tooth, how do you not think to do the gap tooth for family resemblance? I mean, she's doing the whistle thing all the time. She knows it. It's her brand now. I was so and I think it's criminal what she dressed up her drag daughter in. Criminal. She looked, and because Heidi, I think, looked the best she's looked throughout the competition. I don't think she had one look that looked nicer, and it wasn't even anything. You know, it was. She might as well put her in a tuxedo. It was so different, but you know, Heidi looked nice, which was nice to see for a change. And I just don't get how she did the makeup so well because it was really nice on the other one. My button won't mute.
Go on, Luke.
Are you pointing to me, Grant? I'm just commenting on a comment. I think I'm not sure whether who this was directed to. Cos has written a comment to says a white guy from rural Britain, something about I don't know, poo-pooing black excellence or something. If that's talking about me, talking about the country cousin thing, I'm not from Britain, actually, I'm Australian. And I'm from the countryside, and I wouldn't have classed this as black excellence. We haven't got to Jada yet, and I thought this was excellent. But I just thought that Heidi's mismatch was backed up by RuPaul, so I don't feel like I'm saying anything particularly controversial.
I don't think Cos was talking about you. I kind of got lost with your comment, Cos, to be honest. Who was next in the challenge? Oh, Jackie Cox, right? Okay, so who wants to go first with Jackie and what is it? Little Snacky Cox. That is the best one. That's probably the best like person who's been in the makeover challenges name yet. That was like she should have won just for that, to be fair. But yeah, who wants to talk first about those two? Go on, Bob.
I don't know. For me, like I thought a lot of it was quite good. I didn't necessarily like some family resemblance. It felt like a bit of an obvious family resemblance to me, which I mean, some of them obviously are going to be really obvious. That's kind of the name of the game in some ways. But like, I loved her. I thought little Snacky Cox was just like loving it. Like she was living her best life, which I guess is what this is all about, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like love both outfits. I thought both were fairly simple in some way, but I think they were still nice and clean and fun. So yeah, like it was kind of okay for me.
Who wants to go next? Got Horatio, then Luke.
Yeah, so not much to add to that really. I thought that the family there was a family resemblance, but I thought that it relied too much on the wig, and I think she could have gone the extra mile with something else. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with her being in the bottom, but yeah, I'm not here nor there with that decision. But yes, I kind of agree that she should have pushed it a bit further because there was not a lot of energy. If you compare it, maybe with Gigi, who may be next on the pegging level, at least they were sort of having something of an act going on where they were sort of clashing against each other. I don't know. There was more to the narrative, maybe to me, than with Jackie. But I was sad to see Jackie in the bottom again because, yeah, I thought she did well, and the family resemblance was there. But hey, yeah, that's it.
So I just wanted to quickly say, Luke, before you jump in, yeah, it seems strange that she sort of played it so safe, especially she was in the bottom and she came back with this fire and that. You would have thought she would have sort of like done something to elevate her above everyone else, like taken a risk, done something outside the box, but she obviously didn't. I think that was a big mistake. But sorry, go on, Luke.
Maybe also like I'm. This is coming from a Jackie Cox fan. But maybe that is her version of having a fire lit underneath her. Like some queens say they go big, but they kind of don't. But that's, I don't know, they maybe think that they do. And maybe that's her version of big. I think something that went not in her favor was the fact that they physically look very different. Like he's sort of tall and thin and she's shorter and more voluptuous, which sort of, I guess, counts against the family resemblance and maybe is harder to match. But she had all the energy in the world. She had more energy than he did on stage. And she's a novice at it, like as far as we know. So and they did have, yeah, I agree, they did try and stitch it together with like the little disco moves and stuff, and that was good, and that was sort of it worked, and it was well synced, and they sort of nailed it. But it was all a bit kind of small and polite rather than out there, whereas Gigi was falling all over the stage and it was obvious what was going on. Sherry, who we haven't come to, was also big and out and drag, whereas this was just a little bit, we're going to the disco. I don't know. I can see why she was in the bottom, but I liked her, and Little Snacky, what a name, and what a lady, and I don't know, bouncing in her splits, girl, please bring it to the ball.
Yeah, no, she was a lot of fun. She was really fun to watch. But I just want to point out as well, before you jump into her, that Robbie pointed out that during a lot of makeover challenges, the queens who go for the disco theme end up in the bottom quite a lot. I thought it was a really good point. Because I mean, like, it is something we have seen so many times before. It does seem like the obvious thing to go to for these challenges. I'm kind of over it. It's kind of like, you know, like pulling off your wigs during a lip sync. Like if someone, like next season, if someone does like a disco theme, I'm just going to be really disappointed. You know. But anyway, go on, Sue, Kim.
Yeah, Jackie was underwhelming for me too. Like, she looked good. It's kind of like what Ross said in the judging. You did good, but at this point you need to be great, especially after being in the bottom last week. But then when you think of this challenge is notorious for judging everyone differently, because for the same reason she was in the bottom, so should have Gigi and Sherry for those reasons. So I don't know. I think they picked on Jackie a bit, but I'm kind of glad they did, because that lip sync. Sorry to skip ahead a bit, but if I was Jackie, I would have just gave them both a jumpsuit, because I think what goes wrong is if you do completely different outfits, you need the same material in there. Because she had like, it was like a satiny red jumpsuit, I think, and then the other one it looked more plasticky black with a red sash. They should have been more, correlation between them. But I don't think she did badly. I don't think Jackie does badly in any challenge, because when I think she ends up in the bottom just on weeks where other people do better. Oh, and thanks, Kurt, for that very flattering comment that I won't read out.
Oh, wait, I just read a comment about me. I was looking for the comment. I just read one about me. Maybe very sad. So who was next? Jada. Cool. Okay. Who wants to go first on Jada? Okay, go on, Nina.
Sorry, I'm now doing the Jasmine Masters thing myself and just being like, I've got something to say. But like, I really, I thought it was just really fun. I thought it was really fun. She clearly had spent a lot of time thinking about it. It was very polished. Like, obviously, we know that Jada does polish really well. But like, I mean, this was good. And like, I just thought it was so like, are you okay there, Sue, again? I just thought it was really, really polished. And the fact that she made that in the time, like, I think that's also something that probably gave her an extra nose ahead of everything. Like, she made that in the time that like Heidi and Gigi like just sort of wrapped something round theirs. So I mean, like, massive props to her on that as well.
Yeah, sorry, who wants to go next? Go on, Luke.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, like the judges said, the hair shape was the same, the outfits were obviously the same but different. Their faces were the same. They look so different, before drag, but you absolutely believe that they're part of the same drag family. I thought that was just so. It's so often we've seen that really fail, and like for a queen to be put with someone who doesn't look like them, and that be the thing that puts them in the bottom. So for her to actively choose that person herself, and then to really shine in that challenge as well, I just loved. And I really liked, as Arathia was saying before, I really liked how connected they were, and there was a really nice genuine moment between them, and that's always really lovely too. I did think, I don't know, I was kind of getting annoyed with the super fan for like just walking the heels. It hurts. It does hurt sometimes. You just have to ignore it, and you have to own those heels. And I'm going to stand on top of you, even though it kills. But just, I don't know, just like do it. I'm done.
Sorry, I wouldn't unmute. No, I totally agree with what you guys said. But also, was it Jada who was saying that, like, who gave like the pep talk about confidence? It was Jada to her partner, right? Because she was the most sort of.
It was a little bit both ways, wasn't it? Because Jada was talking about how her boyfriend wasn't around and he would be the one to kind of boost her. And so then the super fan kind of boosted Jada at that point. But then Jada was also definitely encouraging her in the walking and the the letting her wild child out.
I was trying to remember exactly what she said though. She gave some really good advice about. I know one of the things she said, for example, was like, if you go out there thinking like you're going to be shit, then you are going to be shit, kind of thing. It was her who said that, right? But that's what it kind of sucked because like I felt for the superfan because she obviously was anxious and like not particularly confident. But it's a shame she couldn't really like take that advice in, could she? Because she was obviously not as confident as she could have been. It kind of sucks. I feel like Jada was saying all the right things, but she just, unfortunately, the superfan didn't sort of bring to the level she needed to. But sorry, God, who wants to go next? God.
Yeah, I think it was more along the lines, I don't care if you fall and die. Just go along the runway, whatever, something like that. It was hilarious. And on that point on the heels, when that happened, I could see that Jada was wearing sandals. So she was not struggling with her toes like the superfan was. And I thought, why on earth don't you give her sandals? Because if she's struggling with the heels, just give her sandals, open sandals, which she wore in the end. And I think that was the whole thing. And maybe she went, actually, I'll give you sandals eventually, but for now, let's do the rehearsal with the heels. But then at one point, she said, "Oh well, then can I take them off?" And then that was edited as, "Oh, here we go, she's gonna fail, la la la." But she eventually wore sandals. Anyway, on her look and all of that, I completely agree with what everyone's saying. To me, and please, I'm not trying to be racist or anything. To me, there wasn't that much of a family resemblance. Maybe I'm being racist. I could see how she was working hard on the nose, and the nose was quite well achieved. To me, she looked a lot like Trinity the Tuck. So there wasn't that much of a resemblance with Jada, but there was some family resemblance. I thought it was a really, really hard job. I'm not complaining that she won the challenge. I thought she did really well. But the family resemblance, and to me, this is what this challenge is always all about. And I agree with Sutikin with what Sutikin said earlier, that the judges seem to have double standards. Sometimes it's the resemblance, and sometimes it's something else. So it was all there for Jackie Cox, but we're not quite sure. So to me, it's all about the family resemblance, and to me, it wasn't quite there. As it was with Gigi. So the family resemblance was with Gigi, was with Jackie, and was with Sherry. Those were my top three, really, in that sense, if you know what I mean.
See, I don't know. I think I did see family resemblance. I think it's a good point. I think, to make someone up who's a completely different skin color to you to look like you is a really difficult task. So you have to bear that in mind with the family resemblance thing. And I thought it was like the style, like she obviously used the same sort of colors in the eyes, but I think it's the same sort of colors on the contour as well. Like, I don't know, and obviously the same contouring as well, but adjusted slightly for her super fan's face. I know, I definitely saw it with the hair and the stuff.
Just very quickly, that same slack that you're talking about, and I would agree, if there are different races, you have to cut them some slack. It wasn't cut with Monet Exchange, and she left that episode.
God, I'm gonna make sure I mute you in a minute, Horatio. Instead,
drop in the lip sync.
Look on.
Just a little comment on double standards in the judging. I don't know. I would have to discuss maybe one-to-one or something with or have a list of examples, because I don't recognize it when I watch the show. It doesn't jump out at me. For me, sometimes I don't, maybe I'm wrong, Horatio, but I don't think you listed Crystal as one of your good family resemblance people this week, and they were different colors, but they were obviously, to me, part of the same crayon box.
Sorry,
but
maybe
maybe they looked
they had a similar look, but they were not a family resemblance look. I mean, they looked very clowny and very cartoonish, but that to me is not a family resemblance.
But just I'm just explaining why I think they're family resemblance. So they are different colors. Obviously, one was orange and one was yellow, I think, but their faces were done exactly the same way, and the hair was done in the same sort of style, even if it wasn't. Like, one was pointy in at one point and one was pointy in many points. So they're different, but of the same family. I don't think they're supposed to look like identical twins, but you definitely see that, like, if you looked at all 12 queens that were on the stage, you know that those two belong together. Whereas perhaps with Heidi and her twin or her family, it's a bit like, well, are they the same family or not? I'm not really sure. So I don't know whether perhaps it seems like double standards because different people are given different reasons for other things. But for me, like if the overall thing works, it works. And if it doesn't, then perhaps it would have had there been a closer family resemblance, or had there been more performance flair, or whatever. Maybe one other group that did well didn't need the performance flair for the whole thing to work.
Just very quickly, because I know I'm taking too much time now, but I think Surukin will agree with me. I think the double standards in the judging is from different seasons, not so much on this episode. It's from different seasons, comparing it to what they're saying now. I didn't see double standards in the judging tonight. I see double standards when you compare it to previous seasons.
I gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the double standard. It's this challenge is notorious for it. They don't define what family resemblance is. Is it meant to be you look like mother and daughter, sister and sister, or just the same drag fam? And they've changed it nearly, and they don't give them criteria. I always look at this challenge this way. You know, in RPGs, you have classes like warrior, mage, black mage. The outfits change as you change the job class, and each character will have. You can tell they're a black mage from the way the clothing goes on them, but they'll all have a unique outfit. And I always look at this challenge like that. So, for example, a black mage will have purple robes, yeah? So, or dark colors. And I always go with that's how this challenge works. You're not meant to be twins. You're not meant to be so different you can't tell. It's meant to be you're in the same genre. So it's like, oh, you're both horror. Oh, you're both romance. If you get me, I'm using these as really bad examples for how I view it, at least. But I think they just use this challenge to get rid of who they want, which showed the double stay, because they wanted those two. I think they wanted someone else in the bottom.
Sorry, I should quickly say then Bob, then everyone else. No, I think that's like I really think that's a great way to look at it, Suikin, with the different classes. I totally 100% agree with you. But also, I do think I agree with like what Horatio and you guys have all been saying as well, in terms of like, I think part of the confusion comes from there does seem to be different standards per season and per contestant. So I think it is like we all have an idea of what we think family resemblance is in terms of Drag Race ourselves, but I think you had the reason it is all a bit like skewed is because this show seems to have like done it in a skewed way, right? But sorry, I know Luke and Horatio want to say something, but Bob, you should go next because Bob wanted to cut in as well. So then Bob, then Luke, then Horatio.
Mine's just super quick, which is just to say that like Suikin's explanation there is like the best I've ever heard for like what this challenge should be. Like I will now never be able to watch this challenge the same way again. So thank you. And also that really appeals to my love of Final Fantasy. So thank you.
Oh, I want to quickly interrupt. Say, when someone, I think it was Horatio, said about Trinity the Tuck, a budget Trinity the Tuck.
Shade. I was just going to say I don't know what a black mage is, so I'm going to have to take Bob's word that was a great explanation because I don't really know what Sudikum was talking about.
It's like a dark magic user, someone that throws fireballs, lightning, ice. It means like sorcerer, magician.
Oh, I see. Okay. I assume it's from a game that I'm not familiar with. Yeah, okay, cool. I forget what I was going to say now. Something in response to Grant. Oh, it was in response to Sudikin as well, actually. I think absolutely at this end, like this pointy end of the season, they will take apart whoever they want to remove from the competition, really, and sort of say, I think obviously if you're like the winner of the week, then you're probably not going to end up in the bottom two, like if it's clear. But it is a little bit of a wishy-washy assignment brief of like who is the most family resemblant or who's the least. You know, it is a bit different, and I think maybe sometimes it then just comes down to how well they execute the overall look. Like, did they look after their person? Did they dress them like they were the little sister who didn't get any of them the money for nice clothes, or you know, whatever. But yeah, I think it's a hard one to pull apart, definitely.
Okay, cool. I was just going to say, but off the back of what Luke just said, I think it's a difficult balance though, because you don't make them look like, you know, like a forgotten about younger sibling, but also you don't want them to overshine you as well. Overshine? That's not a term. You know what I'm saying? Outshine. That's the one I know. So I think it is a really tricky sort of balancing act. And also, like we were saying,
now we're talking language.
Exactly, it's all going off. And on top of that as well, like no one really knows what family resemblance is.
There's someone new in the chat. Just say hi to, I think it's the King.
Oh yeah, I saw. Hey King, King is super passionate about Jada. He left a lot of comments on the last stream, and I respect that. It's good to be passionate about Drag Race people, but just be like open to other people's opinions as well. But you can still be passionate at the same time. So it's Crystal next, right? Yes, I know, Bob. That is like filling me on the inside, and Sutikin as well. I love Crystal. I just want to start off on this one then. So for me, like I felt like the makeover challenges with like makeover challenge this episode, this season was done really well generally, but also most of them in terms of execution, like no one did like a shitty job. We had no like gremlins from who did that? Was it Coco Montrose's one? But so execution was good, but no one was particularly exciting. Everyone played it pretty safe, like Disco, like Gigi and stuff would go under her. But Crystal's was awesome. It was so exciting. It's like not what you expected at all, especially to do such like a bold kind of theming choice on a makeover challenge where you have another person you don't know what they're going to be like and everything as well. I thought it was a really bold sort of choice she made, and yeah, it was like the only runway that really stood out for me. So yeah, like 10 out of 10, absolutely loved it. And in terms of like what Horatio was saying about family resemblance, I know you sort of said it's already, but I think Sue, you consider what someone else said it. Like it's like they're from like the same TV show, right? So for me, that's more than enough of a resemblance. It's like getting two like Powerpuff Girls together or something, you know. So sorry, who wants to go next? Put your hand up. Who puts their hand up first? Bob, go.
Yes, I love this so fucking much. I can't express like I just think any sort of look where the idea behind it is, I just was really kind of inspired by Bert and Ernie. It's just like, this is going to be incredible. And for me, it was just like, it was amazing. It felt like two life partners who live in San Francisco together, like in the village, who are like so over it, like don't really have to like engage with anybody else in the real world, like can completely live their little fantasy. Like they were kind of coordinated, like one of them was like stripes down, one of them was stripes across. Like it was just like so silly, like all the little details that kind of corresponded with each other without being carbon copies of each other's outfits. Like Luke was saying earlier, you know, you've got like kind of pointed hair out here for Crystal, and then Opal just having one giant spike. I just thought there were so many cute nods to each other, without being really, well, obviously it was quite costumey in some ways, but like, you know, sometimes queens have, and like again, like we were saying, like the rules for this style of challenge are always a bit weird. You know, sometimes people are really critiqued for the two sisters looking identical. And I thought this was a really clever way of making them look really similar, and like definitely from the same universe, but without it feeling too like there was too much copying. Like they were just, I just thought it was so lovely and playful and whimsical. I am so here for it. Like this is exactly what I wanted.
I just want to say I love that they're from the same universe, Bob, but not ours, someone else's universe. Also shout out to Sudikin's hair just now. I'm a big fan of that. And hello to Yaz, if no one said hello to you yet. You've been calling for someone to say hi in the chat, so I miss you, Yaz. Hello, nice to see you. Hello to Kurt and to Cos and everyone else as well.
From the beginning, man.
Yes, so I really loved it. I thought actually when I was first watching all of their like the workroom scenes, and you know where they both did the Wonder Woman pose, and Jada was like, "Girl, what are you doing? You're healing energies and things like this." Actually, I think that I'm not the biggest Crystal fan. I like some of the stuff that she does, but I'm not her biggest fan. But actually in this, she kind of got the fact that it's not just a look, but it's a performance. And for them to carry that performance, they both had to bring the same energy. And I think that Crystal quite cleverly spent all that time in the workroom getting her excited, just the same way that Crystal's excited. Like she even asked her, where do you stand on glitter? This is the most important thing. And if you rock glitter, great, we're going to get along fine, because you have to be glitter on that stage. And she absolutely was. And that's what made me think actually Crystal should have won it.
Sue, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Oh my God, Crystal, baby. Yes. Oh, it was amazing. Like, I know, like, I do agree with Horatio a bit. How, in terms of family resemblance, the color tones are different, but I loved it. I think because if you go by drag family, because I think Crystal would have done looks like this nearly every week if Michelle hadn't had to go with her for being heavy on makeup and to show more pretty. because I think this is her go-to thing, having all the different color, like blue, red skin and all that. And what I liked about it was, it's a shame in a way that she didn't have someone that looked completely different, because by painting someone all a different color, it kind of removes. I know you got bone structure, but it would have removed any issue of skin tone clashes, and because she still it wasn't like she just painted the bitch yellow and that was done. She contoured it and did all the work there. Oh, I thought it was amazing. And I don't know how she didn't win. I mean, if she's not going to win this challenge, poor Crystal, she's not winning a challenge, is she? Because this was, I mean, it was so good. And it was like Bob and I think Luke was saying, like all the stripes, and it reminded me of the Memphis style from the 80s, like all those color, like basically if you watch Stranger Things, they belong on Stranger Things with the type of clothes they wear on there. I loved it. And I'm going to stop because I'll just keep saying I love Crystal, because I do. I stab Crystal.
Can I quickly jump in? So I think what I just really love about that as well. Sorry, Horatio, I will let you speak, but like I just love this so much. Is like it's also quite clever because Bert and Ernie themselves are a duo, and so I think what was really clever is like Bert and Ernie in their own TV show are a duo who are from the same, not drag family, but the same sort of TV family. Like there's already a family resemblance without them having to look identical. And so I think it was a really clever choice to then like take these two friends who are potentially lovers and then like turn them into some sort of like lesbian retirement home version. Like I was just so in love with this. Like this is just everything I wanted. Like,
Horatio?
Yes. Yeah. So sorry that I seem to be in disagreement here. It seems like we're gonna end now the debate on my turn, and you're all in agreement. I loved it. I loved the look. I lived for it. I thought it was. Yeah, I agree with you. It was the most original, the most, I don't know, not fashion forward, but the most outside the box kind of thinking, and I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, there's only so much family resemblance you can get with two cartoon characters. I mean, they're blown up proportions and features. So in a way, it's kind of easy to get a family resemblance because they're blown up features. So I get the concept that they're kind of the same. They both emanate from the same world, and that sort of goes. I see that argument, but it goes back to the different standards in judging. I just thought of Manila Luzon's makeover challenge in All Stars 4, and it was very conceptual as well. It was a very simple look, but it was like cards, yeah. And she was the black card, and her partner was the red card. And I mean, just to put an example where you can compare it, and it was conceptual, and it was out there, and it was outside the box, like Manila is always outside the box, and I was living for it. And guess what? That's when she left. That's when she was in the bottom and left the competition. So this is what I mean by double standards in judging. So why should we all get so? I mean, why should she be in the bottom and now Crystal be in the top? By the way, I absolutely agree where she was pegged in the ranking at the end. I thought she deserved to be in the top, but I didn't think she deserved to win the challenge.
Go on, Luke.
Just briefly, I think I love Manila Luzon as well, and I thought that was a clever look that she did in All Stars 4. But it just wasn't as elevated as this. This was a much bigger look, and I think more clever and more complex to pull off. And I think she really pulled it off. So for me, it wasn't necessarily that the concept should have been judged the same. It's also how well you execute. It's all these things together. And I agree with. I agreed actually that Manila shouldn't have been in the top in that week, and I worried for her, and then she left, which was sad. But I thought Crystal was great this week.
Is that to me, Grant? But I do think Horatio's got a really good point, like in the sense that I think the judging is so strange with it. Like as much as I absolutely adore Crystal's look, I do get that like if you're talking, depending on how you judge family resemblance, like Crystal's could be seen as, even though it takes skill to pull it off, it could be seen as like an easy way out because it's costumey, right? Whereas Jada's, for example, is a much more kind of straight down the line drag family resemblance. Although I can totally see like Crystal and Opal like that being like, okay, we're both going to be hosting a night together. Let's like dress up and do like a Bert and Ernie thing. But at the same time, yeah, I think Horatio's right. Like the standards on this one are so weird, and I think I can see how a judge would say, for example, that was a really costumey one. I'm looking for resemblance. Like I'm looking for you to shape a face. I'm looking for you to do this. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I mean, I'm used to just like loving a queen's performance and them not winning. So this was like a regular week for me. So there we go.
Okay, so guys, I got a question for you and for the chat as well. So for us on camera, put your hand up if you think Jada deserved to win this challenge this week. Okay, as in above Crystal. So out of the two, you think Jada should have won over Crystal. As I'm saying, like this is. So Horatio, I thought you thought Jada did deserve to win over Crystal.
Sherry should have won this challenge.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, so I just want to talk before we go on to it then. So I understand why Jada won to an extent. Like her creating the costumes was really good, and she was really nice in terms of like assigning the super fans to everyone. But I do think she basically the reason I'm bringing this up now is because it comes off the back of the conversation we just had. I do think in terms of the challenge, family resemblance and sort of elevating your makeover partner kind of thing, and you're both. I don't know. I feel like Crystal did definitely come first in terms of like what I view like the requirements of a challenge to be. So I don't know, but I do think Jada did well in like different ways to Crystal. It's kind of like apples and oranges in a way as well. But it's kind of like a fashion makeover look challenge, right? And Crystal blew everyone away with her look and her partner's look, whereas Jada's look was very good and like technically very good, but like we're not going to remember it next season, are we? Do you know what I mean? That's my thoughts on that. Anyone else want to add anything to that?
I think it's an anything goes challenge. Really, I think at this point it's done late in the competition, and it's an opportunity to for RuPaul to sort of put them at the same level and sort of leave it all open for the finale. And whoever's has won fewer challenges, they win that one. I mean, obviously not so simple, I know, but I think sometimes it's the fashion, sometimes it's the family resemblance. So who knows? You know, I think it was a good leveler to put Jada up there with Gigi, and maybe Sherry will win the next one, and then we'll have a fourth in the final, and that'll be Heidi or Crystal or Jackie. Who knows?
Okay, so it's Sherry next, isn't it? So, go on, Horatio. Do you want to talk about Sherry? You were just talking about her.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I'm not a Sherry Pie fan, but I really liked what she did. Oh, you're leaving. Oh, I think Luke was leaving.
I thought he was just like blowing kisses at you, being like, "I like Sherry's look." I'm like, "That's quite like you really love Sherry's look." There, I forgot he had to leave behind.
Sorry, Luke. Bye. Yeah, so I'm not a Sherry Pie fan, and I always think that her face is a bit creepy. Like, let alone her persona, but her face is creepy. I don't like it. But when it comes to family resemblance, when the other one came out the door, it was like the same exact face. I was like completely blown out. And then on the performance level, that's the performance I enjoyed the most, and the performance I laughed at the most. I thought it was very clever, really well acted, both on Sherry Pie's part and on Tiramisu's part. And yeah, I just thought that she deserved to win that one.
I say it's difficult to say that. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like we had no sort of camera time with them, which is kind of harsh on Tara, as if we're pronouncing it with British accent. So I don't know, like I can see what you're saying, but also I don't know if I can like agree with you 100% because we don't really know like the ins and outs of what really happened there. We didn't really see much of her performance, like much of her interactions, like much of their content.
You only need to watch the performance. The runway is there, and they had a real narrative going on, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was the best.
Well, like one thing I thought about it. Sorry, but one thing I thought about it was like she obviously I don't know. Like I think the difference between say her and like let's use Heidi as an example, where Heidi really got to know her contestant and they came up with a concept together. Like obviously Sherry had that dress already made, saying like tiramisu or whatever. It doesn't work in British accent. It's like Tara in British accent. It's like Tiramisu. Like I don't think she really got a say in anything. Like she just made her an exact clone of herself, which I guess like as we've been chatting about could be the exact assignment of a challenge potentially, but like also I do feel like an aspect of his challenge is like the heartwarming, like the relationship between the drag race contestant and the super fan or whatever or makeover partner. I think a lot of that is to play in terms of like because
Well,
they do normally talk about that when they're judging as well.
if you're
Right?
if
Go
you're
on.
judging it like Daisy Ridley is in the show, you don't know any of that. You haven't watched any of that. You just have the performance to go with, and that's what I'm saying. you
Well,
know?
that's something like I agree to an extent, but then like they do always talk about that in judging panel, right? They always ask like the makeover partner, like, how was your queen with you? Did they listen to you? Do you have what you want out of this? Like they do normally bring it into the judging sector of
They probably did
the
that with
challenge.
Harry as well. They just didn't show it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you say again.
I said that they probably did that with Sherry as well, but they just didn't show it to us.
Well, maybe, but I'm saying, but if they did, like, I don't know what she could have said because, like I said, it was just a clone of Sherry Pie with like a name that was already pre-chosen and a dress that was like pre-made and everything. So, do you know what I mean? It's just like I'm saying, it's the other end of the scale compared to someone like Heidi and her contest. I'm not saying it's like it potentially did work better because it was done like that, but you do always also lose an element because of that, in my opinion. But sorry, Bob. Sorry, go on.
No worries. I think it was quite an interesting one for me. I agree with what Robbie is saying in the comments that it's kind of a similar, like we've seen a lot of this look before from Sherry in some ways, but at the same time, like you're saying, like I agree with what Horatio's saying with like Daisy being there for the first time. Like she doesn't know this. Like it was very clever, I thought, because, and actually I hadn't necessarily thought about it in these terms, but as soon as I think Rue maybe said mustard and ketchup, and I was actually, that's kind of what it was. Like they had this kind of 50s diner look, like they had like colors that felt really right for that kind of diner look, but like were perfectly that sat really well together, but also gave them enough difference. Like, oh, there's the red one, there's the yellow one. But I also thought it was just it fit. Like I think it just felt like it had a narrative to it that made sense. I think they both looked pretty good. Like Sherry's face sort of was somewhat transplanted onto Taramisu's face. And I think like a lot of that was clever. Like for me, I'm a little bit tired of that character from Sherry, but at the same time, I think she met the task. Like the task was to have this kind of family resemblance. Again, like not to the kind of what always goes through my mind with this challenge, although now it should be the whole job class thing. But like, does it look like they would host a night together? Like, could they be on a mic? Like, could they both be on mics together in a club or in a bar and it work? And that would make sense. Like that, I would believe that duo on stage together. So I did think it for me, Sherry's placement made sense of her being in the top. I think it would have been deeply unfair for her to have been just safe or bottom, given how everyone else's came together. But I don't know. I wasn't necessarily like in love with it, but I agree with what Horatio is saying. Like she met the assignment really strongly.
I do agree with both Horatio and Bob's points on that, because I thought conceptually it was amazing, very clever, because she did the ketchup and mustard, I believe it was. And I was like, Eddie Rockets. Oh, by the way, in the chat they call her Prison Pie, and I live for that. Prison Pie is what I'm calling Sherry from now on. But my issue was, I thought she made Janet the Planet, which, by the way, we have not mentioned how amazing that she literally changed her name to Janet the Planet. Just amazing. She made her look like an old woman, which it was one of her critiques, because her crow's feet were more prominent in drag. I don't know, my eyes just went straight there. Her crow's feet were like boing, boing, boing. And I was like, okay, you're told not to be an old woman again. You make your daughter look older than you. And I think it's just the way Sherry paints her face. She looks old. She looks like I belong in a Victorian era sort of thing. And it's just, I thought she should have been the bottom, controversial to everyone else because of that. Because just because you've got to do this family resemblance, you should still be elevating yourself and taking on critiques. And well, because I don't know, because then again, Gigi I thought should be on the bottom, but Jackie and I don't, because like I said, it was an amazing drag thing, and I loved it. I don't know, maybe it's like as Grant said, I haven't had that connection with Sherry to fully get it, but I'll stop going on too much because I'm good at that.
That's my sorry, Hershey. Just super quick. I just wanted to say like that, piggybacking off what Suter said and also what you guys were saying before. I was going to say this anyway. Like that is another point as well. Like it was well executed. It was clever. It did work well for this challenge, but it was exactly what we expected from Sherry Pie, even down to the whole like old lady makeup aesthetic thing. So again, like because of that, that's what I said earlier in terms of like all the makeover challenges. Like they were all executed well, but the only one that really wowed me was Crystal's. Whereas like because Sherry is exactly what I expected from her. It was good, but it's what I expected. Harish?
Yeah, just quickly on that. I mean, I think I get your point. But I think if it had been a comedy challenge or an improv challenge where she retorts again to the same old lady joke, then absolutely she should be criticized and put in the bottom for it. But I don't think that she did that. She just painted her face, which I mean, did Jada not paint her face? She did. Did Gigi not paint her face? She did. So she just painted her face. And actually, the vibe that she gave me in her performance was very lively. It was nothing to do with old lady. It was very energetic. It was very vivacious. There were bouncing each other. It was really funny. They were taking orders. They were saying, "Oh, I don't know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, whatever." It was fun. It was not an old lady's performance at all. So to me, that was better than Jada. I saw more family resemblance than Jada, and because of what I explained earlier, it was better than Crystal as well.
Okay.
Let me settle that rebuttal quickly. I agree with you. I don't know why. I think it's because I haven't connected with her that I'm judging her this harsh. Because I'm doing my best to keep the controversy out of judging her, but it was just something that didn't feel. I think it's the crow's feet on Janet the Planet. I think once I saw that, and then the old lady criticism, because to me there was like too much highlight powder there or something, and it really made them stand out. And I've got a big screen TV where you notice those little details, and I was just like, I'm not amused.
First one.
Exactly.
I was just gonna say as well. So yeah, I agree. Like she obviously wasn't going for like obvious old lady or anything, but you have to admit, like she does. Like you wouldn't assume. How old is she again? Like she's supposed to be like 26 or something. You would not think. Like if you saw Sherry Pie and Janet the Planet, whatever she's called, Tiramisu, you would not think they're in their 20s from looking at their drag. Like that's just like objectively a fact, right?
I know, but she's been doing the same since the start, and we were at the start. We were going,
Change it.
"Oh my god, Sherry!" Yeah, she was at the start. We were going, "Oh my god, she's amazing." She's going, "Oh my god, what a shame," because she's amazing. She's good. Why have we now changed to, "Oh, but she's doing the same"? So is everyone else. Crystal is. I mean, maybe Crystal not so much. She has toned it down. But everyone is doing their face. Everyone is kind of doing their drag. They have to play to their strengths, and that clearly is her strength. Why were we so wowed by Sherry at the start and now not so much?
I wasn't. I never liked her. She was. I always said from the beginning she's not for me. Like I get why people like her, but she was never for me, to be honest. So it's more just like everyone's coming onto my level now.
Sherry was my top pick before the controversy, so I find it really, because I want to stand her, and I've loved a lot of her looks. I've loved a lot of what she's given. It's the editing, because you've got to admit, a lot of when you like looks and where you understand people's taste level on the show is how you see their journey. And with Sherry, because it's like they don't show you her properly, it's very hard to relate to her. And like, I don't know. Like maybe if I'd seen more of her, I would have realized how different this bit of drag was to the other bits. Do you get me?
I think we should just try to see beyond the editing. We know that this is a very heavily edited show. We know that, and I mean, Sherry Pie is. I mean, she's kind of. I don't know if she's gonna ever recover after this. So I think if we're gonna talk about her, at least let's give her the benefit of the doubt in what she does in the show. Like, I'm not a fan of her. I'm not trying to justify any of what she's done or anything, but like, if she does a good job, let's praise her, because at least she's got that going for her. I mean, she's gonna be like a drag corpse from now on. Bless her.
I just want to reiterate that, like, we did chat about this, I think, in episode 1, and we did say that, like, yeah, we all acknowledge what's happened. We all have our views on it that we shared, but we will take her at face value in terms of her performance on the show and in terms of like trying to see past the editing with that. So I have bared that. I have tried to bear that in mind with everything I've said. I think just baseline for me personally, she's just not my sort of queen. And I think what a part of that is a lot of these queens do kind of do like what you'd expect them to do in terms of like her performances in the challenge and this look and things like I don't know, like again, like with Jada for me, for example, like she came across as like a pageant queen initially, and like I didn't really connect with her, but she has kind of like surprised me quite a few times now, and I'm definitely starting to like exactly very that suit, like I'm definitely starting to like see other sides to her, and I'm liking her a lot more now. Do you know what I mean? But whereas I know part of it is editing, but like in terms of the actual, like you look at her performances in the challenges, they've been good, but like they've been kind of what I've expected from her, like campy, like do you know what I mean? It's just like it's just not for me personally. But should we move on to next week? So we've been talking about the show for a little while now. Who was next?
Is that everyone?
Is that everyone?
Gigi.
Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Okay.
I thought we'd already gone over it.
Actually, Suter, do you want to start with Gigi?
Sure. With Gigi, I don't dislike the looks, but they were very basic. Like they're not elevated enough for this. But everything Gigi's mother makes is polished. You know, everything. Gigi's mother's an amazing costume designer. Like, I hope to God she's giving all this prize money because she's bound to win at this point to her mum, who's rent man for the next 10 years. Well, I learned to sew myself because, I'm not going to backtrack into the other challenges, but with Gigi, I did say earlier to someone, I think, that they should have swapped coats. You know, if they came down and they took the coats off, swapped them, and I would have took the hats off and had a halo and devil horns because it was Gigi good and something bad. That was the tag names, wasn't it? That's it. And also, why not say I would have done Fifi bad because of Fifi O'Hara or Mimi bad because of the end first? Because, you know, because that's what Rue likes. Rue likes you to have layers to your stuff and to basically, if you can advertise the show and everything you do.
I was saying, there's no way Rue remembers who either Fifi or Mimi are.
I think she remembers.
Probably was like, something happened with maybe a BB, maybe BB guns. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, yeah.
Like, just there is BB Zahara, but she was just bad on All Stars. But yeah, like Gigi's it. What's awkward with Gigi is she's very good, but it's weird because she's got cocky as she's not doing amazing. Like if she had this cockiness in the beginning when she was doing well, I might have been more accepting of it. But she's like I don't know if you guys saw the preview for next week, but she's like, I can't believe I was safe. It's so bad. It's like, you didn't think you were going to win, did you? Not this week. And that does play a part in it because she's become so unlikable. But before, her fashion was elevated enough to justify it. I'm sorry, your mum didn't do a good enough job this week.
Oh my God. Gigi's mum is getting like attacked here.
I'm praising Gigi's mum. I'm just
but wait, it wasn't her mum though.
Just attacking her daughter.
Just to clarify,
what do you call a non-binary child? Is it son or daughter? Because she came out as non-binary on the show, didn't she?
That's a good point.
Child. I guess you just say their
child.
child.
No, let's not open that can of worms.
Offspring is a gender neutral term.
Oh God! But what I was going to say is it wasn't their mum who did it. They said like their account was designed together, and then it was like done by someone else, right? So like you can't even like blame her mum this week. But like this is kind of like what annoyed me about it. Just bounced off what Suter said. Sorry, Bob. I realised I cut you off. Okay, thanks. But like that's the thing. Like they're acting like it's like a revolutionary, like amazing design. Like we haven't like our pathetic little peasant eyes have never seen the likes of before, you know. But I thought it was pretty basic. Like I swear we've seen stuff like this on the runway of Drag Race, plus like on runways for about 50 years now already. It's kind of like Cruella de Vil. Like I know we've seen loads of stuff like this before. Like yeah, it was chic. But I totally agree with Suter. It just wasn't enough. The only thing I don't like fully get myself yet is like I feel like a lot of people are really like disliking Gigi now. I'm not there myself yet. I still think she's good. I still like her. I still think she's entertaining. I still think she's very talented. I'm excited to see what she does next. But I do think her look was basic, especially for her. Definitely should have been some sort of reveal, like another level and layer to it, 100%. But sorry, Bob, go on.
Oh no, I mean that's basically just what I was going to say. I think like, and if you're going to make it sort of like a good and evil thing, like yeah, like have an extra layer that really sells that, because otherwise it's literally like good and evil, and we're representing that through the colors black and white. Like ooh, groundbreaking. Like you know, just like you know, give me more. I think that was also kind of just quite strange as well, because like I was sort of saying earlier, like the look was just like a coat. Like there wasn't, it wasn't like you know like Grant Sitkin was just saying, like there wasn't a reveal into something. There wasn't like more. Omar's here. Sorry. ah, yeah, I just thought it just. I mean, it was well executed for what it was, but I think it just felt really unfair in the sense that you've got someone who brought two coats with them, and you've got someone like you've got Jada making all of that. You've got Crystal like painting someone up like that. You've got Sherry like putting her face on someone else. Like it just felt a bit weirdly disjointed. That like, and I thought it was actually quite interesting as well that there were three highs, like three high placements, like two top and a win, and then safe and then a bottom two. I don't know if Gigi necessarily would have been enough for a bottom three, but like in some ways, although I just thought it was a bit meh, but it just seemed odd to me. Like, okay, no, but we're gonna make Gigi safe in this one. Like Gigi's safe. Like she's not in the bottom. She's safe. Like remember this, guys. She can still win. Like you know, it did feel a bit strange to me in that sense.
Yeah, I thought the same. I thought that she could equally have been labeled bottom three, because the only difference, I said this before, the only difference between her and Jackie was that her performance was a bit more lively and a bit more funny, and than Jackie's. Jackie's was a little bit dull. So yeah, totally could have been labeled bottom three. I think we're in complete agreement here, so I have nothing much to add. But if there is a finale ever filmed, you know, when RuPaul sort of addresses the parents, if the parents or the grannies or whatever, I mean, if the mom of Gigi Good is not made to walk the runway on stage, for fuck's sake, she should so much be invited, at least on stage. Because if Gigi Good wins, like, my God, it's her mom's prize. Half of it, at least.
Can we have like Gigi's mum as like taking Sherry's place, or like can that happen?
Fully here for that. Fully here for that. So we sort of talked about like the tops and bottoms and stuff already, right? So should we go straight onto lip sync? We lip sync.
Can I just quickly say with Gigi, the reason I think I dislike Gigi so much now is I really liked her in the beginning of the show. She's gone from like someone who I really like to someone I'm just like, I don't like you. I don't like the way you be. It's because it started on the episode where she did the commercial and she was like, I'm winning. I'm better than you. She literally said, I'm better than you. And I don't think that wasn't a joke. She really thinks that. It goes back like she called them losers today. It's just, she is what I thought Aquaria would be, and Aquaria did the opposite, where she got nicer. Gigi's like gone, I'm really sweet. I'm actually that bitch. I'm not in the good way, that bitch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Aquaria matured some during the show, whereas Gigi's doing the opposite. Yeah.
I wonder as well if we're going to have a narrative now of Gigi turning that around for like the last few episodes, where it's going to be now like, oh no, Gigi's like been chastened a bit by this whole experience and is now going to be like, I'm so sorry, I was so bad, like insert script here. But like, I don't know, I don't, that often happens, that kind of narrative, right? Like, I don't think they want to end with a queen in the, you know, who's got 3 wins or however many, 3? Has she got 3 now? And her being, you know, having that kind of personality thing. I think they want to kind of redeem her somewhat within the season, although we'll see.
Maybe they're tailoring it so to make it look like it will be Jada coming on top at the end.
Well, my dream at the moment is for Heidi to beat Gigi in a lip sync to Alaska's song. Your makeup is terrible, terrible, terrible. And Heidi's like, that bitch.
That would be so meta.
I'll whistle, but...
That would be amazing. What was I going to say?
Crystal, like, can we have Crystal as she was dressed for this episode, like dancing to like the Sesame Street theme tune? Like, can that be her lip sync song? Like, I would so like. It doesn't even have to be her lip sync song. Could you just do it? Like, I would pay a lot of money to see that performance.
Yes, I just want to say, like, I do think Gigi could go one of 2 ways now. I think she could like have like a redemption arc or kind of crash and burn. So I'm interested to see where that storyline goes. So yeah, should we talk about lip sync?
Sorry, Yaz is just about to go, by the way. So
yes, love you. Bye.
Yaz, love you.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, I just muted myself then. Yeah, so lip sync, because it was like a great lip sync, right? I think we need to talk about it. Go on, Horatio, you can start.
Yeah, I was really glad that it was. I knew that. I mean, just if you count the episodes left, you knew that there was a double save somewhere. I thought it might have been last week with Widow, but I thought it was nice to see it this week. I enjoyed. So I know that Jackie's performance was very energetic, but I was cringing a bit with it. It was a bit too intense, and I mean, I enjoyed it. But my boyfriend asked me at one point, well, if you had to save, he was saying, I know you know it's going to be a double save or whatever, but if you had to choose one, if I had to choose one, I would have chosen Heidi, actually. I thought Heidi was better. I thought there was more to it. There was more variation. I like Jackie's as well, and I thought it was a deserved a double save. But I think Heidi's had an edge.
Interesting. Sukin?
I love the lip sync, and like if I had to pick one, I'd only pick Jackie because I haven't seen something quite that before where Heidi was tip top shape, but I've seen it before where Jackie was just like I thought it was so cool. And what I like with Jackie's lip syncing is she knows she can't dance and she knows she can't do certain things. So she does which is what the show is about and what a lot of winners end up showcasing. You do you and do it well. And I thought the lip sync was, and it was deep. I was wishing, I was like, oh, can they just split screen it so I don't have to see, I can see both of them constantly. And I thought, what a well matched lip sync. You know, no one overtook anyone else, and I'm worth a double save, definitely.
Oh my God! Surely, can we return to the split screen that we had in season 11 with the 6-way lip sync? Can that have a return at some point?
Yes, although like, no more 6-way lip syncs, but like the split screen, yes. Like, I agree with what's been said. Actually, I really loved Jackie's performance, but then I also know that I am sort of always inclined to kind of like her. Jackie's performance is exactly how I would have approached it, given that I can't dance. So, like, I think I would have gone a Jackie route, but at the same time, I do agree with Horatio. I think I actually think her joke got a little bit tired towards the end of it because she was kind of repeating moves a bit. At the same time, I still thought Jackie's was really funny. I thought Heidi was really going for it. And I think for me, the double save was the only real solution to it, because I think choosing either one would have been to kind of discredit something really good that the other one had done. So I think, like, even though I mean, at the same time, if either had gone, I would have been like, fair, you lost a good lip sync. Like, it wasn't, you know, like some sort of bullshit editing thing where like someone massively outperforms someone but still goes home because of storyline. Like, it was like, if either one of them had gone home, you'd be like, I get it. Like, that makes sense with my fantasy.
The order who announced it matter. I'm actually asking you guys, because she saved Heidi first and then said to Jackie. She didn't. So does that matter? Does that mean Heidi would have won if she had decided?
I don't know. I thought it could have been either way. I thought the editing was quite clever because the music that starts when the person is saved started, so it made you think that Jackie was going, and then so that they've changed that slightly. So that was quite clever. I think so. I might. Well, because I thought that Heidi did better, and that is I mean, I've said the opposite sometimes. I've always said that, oh, when they roll around, I don't like it, and Heidi was rolling around, but I thought that it was more varied. It was a more varied lip sync. That's why I preferred it.
She was gliding round.
She was. I agree. I agree with everything you guys said, basically. Although for me, like, you know, my thoughts on Jackie, like, I think she's good, but haven't really connected. I don't really care too much about her personally. But I do think just based on the lip sync itself, like a double stay seemed right to me, just based purely on lip sync. I also want to point out that Kurt clocked it as well. I was going to mention it, but Heidi did do that arm thing I hate. But like the rest of the lip sync, like, it was good. I think it was fun watching them. I think the split screen would have been good for this one because they had two such different approaches. It was kind of like hard going between them both and like trying to like change your like outlook on it with them, kind of thing. But yeah, I thought they both did really well. Yeah, so it was a good lip sync to watch. I wanted to say as well, in terms of Gigi's personality, I still haven't seen any Untucked this season, so I'm guessing I'm missing like some aspects of her from that. whereas I think I know Suki has seen most of Untucked, right? I don't know whether you got other guys have as well. Sorry, someone's put a hand up, right? Bob, Horatio, go on, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to say, there's 2 more episodes. Will we see Heidi surviving a 4th lip sync? That would be a first.
I think Rue loves her so much. I think Rue will keep her no matter what, to be honest, unless she fully fucks up. I should say, like,
her time is running out.
Cameron
Sorry, Bob-
survived
Sorry.
the finale.
So Suki first.
go on, Sia.
I was just saying, I don't think it'd be a first because technically Cameron did survive 4 lip syncs because Asia killed all the butterflies.
I'm talking pre-finale. If she survives the 4th one, it would be the first one before the finale that a queen survived before.
That's just like unfair because let's face it, if you lip sync 4 times, you're not going. Mind you, it means you're pretty good at lip syncing. So,
But if she agrees to change her name to something Rue wants her to be called, then she'll get through to finale no matter what, right? So,
well, technically, Heidi Aphrodite's only been in the bottom once.
Yeah, or maybe that's how she's surviving. Like each time with a different name. Like she's gonna wear like a little moustache and be like, "No, like I don't know what you're talking about. This is my first time at the bottom."
I hope they do that at the finale.
she's gonna
Imagine,
change
she's like,
Heidi
"I'm not
Charles."
eliminated. That was Heidi, and that was Heidi. Whatever.
That was Heidi N Closet. Yeah, Heidi Charles is going to be the final evolved form, I think, and she'll be part of her family now. But it's odd actually because now I guess we're at that stage where we're like, we've got 6 queens. We know that we need to get them to a 4. I'm kind of like, who do you think will be the top 4 from this lot? Like, who are the 2 who you think are going to go home? Because I'm finding it like there are some who I think will go, but at the same time, it does feel quite tight with some of them. Like for me, I feel like Jada, Gigi, and Sherry are like almost definitely top 3, but I can't quite decide who the 4th would be.
To me, looking at next challenge is a comedy challenge. I don't see Gigi or Jada doing particularly well. But equally, yeah, because Jada, I mean, she was good at the improving. I think she's quite quick, but when it comes to something that she has to rehearse and think about, I don't think she's that good. I think either of those might be in trouble. And dare I say maybe Crystal as well. I don't know, because even though I find Crystal funny, it's a very particular sense of humor. It's kind of absurd, and I'm all up for it. But Whoopi Goldberg is going to be there. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know. It could be definitely the finale, Gigi and Jada and Cherry, and then I think it's quite open for the other 3 to make it.
I agree. And I think actually, Horatio, you make a really good point about Crystal with it being a comedy challenge. I think like I do feel like it kind of might only take Crystal being in the bottom once to go home. And I could see this feasibly being her one.
Particularly if she's in the bottom with either Jada or Gigi or one of those. I mean, if she is, she'll go home. It'll be unfair, but she probably will.
Also, can I just quickly point out that Kurt mentioned Heidi's new name being Heidi Benina Brown, which is just like class, and like I just felt like that needed some airtime because that's fucking brilliant. Well done, Kurt.
Jan's gone. You know, because I really saw Jan being like when they all got released. I thought the top 4 were going to be Sherry, Jan, Jackie, and Gigi. And obviously that's a bit twisted now. But I still can't believe Jan in one went. Do you know what I mean? Because right now, I would have thought Jan would have been here doing well. And as much as I love Crystal, I expected at this point Jackie and Crystal to be going off. It's weird this seed, especially knowing Sherry's disqualified, because that means 2 wins that could have gone to other people and changed the playing field. Like, I wonder if they might do something at the finale where we don't know who the final person will be, and they'll have to do something to get into the finale, maybe. Like maybe they'll have the people there have to do a challenge, like a bonus episode, or maybe they'll have a fan vote.
And it's Britta! Yeah. Can you imagine they spin a wheel and like Aiden's like, I'm in the top 4.
Yeah. No, Britta, welcome back to RuPaul's Drag Race.
That would be proper funny, to be fair. I said so. I'll ask Omar and Curtis said maybe to bring the person who was fifth just into top four by default. But we kind of talked about this before. I think it's kind of ridiculous having a top four anyway. To be fair, like who gives a shit about like the fourth person? Like it makes it seem far less special. Top three is so much better. Just keep it a top three. Like we're not gonna like again. It'd be fun to have like a challenge to get someone else in the top four, but also like again, like no one gives a shit about the fourth person anyway. Like it's just not worth it. Like they're not going to get the crown anyway. Just keep it at top three, move on with your life, you know.
I also think it's quite difficult for them because if you bump up someone who went home to being in the top four, like it kind of undoes two things in the show really, because it like undoes all the drama of them leaving really before the top four, although you know still a nice thing and whatever. But then I think it does also feel quite weird because you're like, you kind of know that they can't win almost, because it'll be really weird if there's a top four, say, and they do a lip sync for the win style format or whatever they do, right? And then say the fourth person is Jackie, and like, you know, she was fifth and then she gets bumped up to fourth. Then like it would then be weird if she beats someone in a lip sync, because then you're like, oh, but like you didn't actually, you weren't meant to be here, you know. So it's.
I mean, we still have trouble assimilating the end of all seasons 4. So I mean, that would be a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I've heard rumors that apparently, you know, the finale, it's going to be they're going to have to make a music video rather than live lip syncing. They're going to give them no, it's only a rumor, mind, but they're going to give them like live professional equipment.
A music video with Roderick Hall or something.
Oh God, I hope not. Well, they won't get paid.
Exactly.
But that would be interesting, because you know, if that's the case,
It'll give them exposure, though.
Pardon?
It will give them exposure. It'll be good for them.
It wouldn't be good for him. Like
into the choir, I told you this. No, but like the music video thing is interesting because to me, Crystal's going to knock a music video out of the park. Because if you look at the videos they did, she had the most interesting effects in that. So if that and that would be a first, you know. And let's face it, RuPaul loves doing all their things.
It's a music video to "Rhythm of the Night" by El DeBarge.
That would be biased.
And then Crystal wins, and then game over. There we go.
Well, Crystal should just win anyway.
I agree. So should we? So did we decide who we think the top four are going to be? Okay, so you all agree. Sorry?
We just don't know.
Well, we all agree that Jada and Gigi will. Oh, we say not Gigi, maybe.
Yeah, Jada and Sherry.
Sherry. Okay, so the third one. So I really think Crystal. Like Crystal is an upward trajectory. She's doing great. She deserves it.
I think it's too up in the air to tell. It's too hot.
But what I was going to say in regards to it though is like I think in terms of people like who should make the top four, I think it should be like people if they did get chucked out who'd be interested to see come back on All Stars. So I think like for example like I need to explain it. It doesn't really make sense. Like Jackie, for example, she got kicked out. I don't think many people would be that excited to see her come back on All Stars. Not because people don't like her, but because we've seen so much of her already. Like I don't really know what else she really has to offer. Whereas like I think a lot of people would be excited to see Crystal come back on All Stars because she.
I think it. I'm not sure about this. Maybe Surikin or Bob, correct me if I'm wrong. I think from season 9 or 10, top 4 has been someone that at least has won a challenge. And that's not Crystal or Jackie. So with that in mind, I would say Heidi.
Okay, but that's one aspect of it. But I'm saying like I think for me personally, and I think like it makes it most interesting, like who basically has like the most sort of impact on the drag scene in the show and that. I'm saying like if, for example, if it was Jackie, like I don't think people care enough about it. I don't think people are going to remember Jackie in 2 years' time, but I think people remember Crystal and they'd be excited to see more from Crystal and for Crystal to come back again. So I think based on something, I think that's the sort of criteria that should matter. And I think based on that, Crystal deserves to be in the top unless she fucks up in the next couple of weeks or whatever.
Drag Race, not Grant's Drag Race, yeah?
Well, it should be. It'd be a way better show if it was Seafoam Drag Race, isn't it?
I'm only saying that I think that's the criteria that she's following. So I mean, if Crystal wins next challenge, then yes, maybe Crystal.
But Crystal should have won this challenge. That's a frustrating thing.
Yes, and Jan should have won the fucking Rusical.
No, she shouldn't. That's different. That's a whole different thing. Wait, I was gonna say Sue. I felt like Sue can say, but he's fully just jumped off ship now. So should we wrap up then? Is there anything you guys want to say about this episode in particular before we wrap up? Cool. Okay. So should we talk about? Oh, it's CUNTs. Let's do it. We'll chat. You get involved as well. So who are we giving our charisma to, guys? Bob, do you wanna go?
Janet the Planet.
Okay. I see that for her. Horatio.
Charisma, let's give it to, I don't know, Heidi for not knowing to pen a fucking gap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's charisma, but fine.
Quite charismatic, but
Okay. I'd give it to probably what's her name? The little Jackie, what's her name? Little Snacky Cox.
Little Snacky Cox.
I loved her. She was a lot of fun. Sukin, just in time for CUNT. Who's your charisma?
Charisma is Jada. Because she opened up a button. It's a side to her I haven't seen before. I love the way they edited Jada because it's proof the editing matters, because I haven't felt a strong thing to Jada. And when it was like, oh, girl, and I can see her winning now. Where before it was like, she's just going to be the fourth or third wheel. But so I'm giving her credit for felt something for her. No.
Oh, you cut out a little bit, but right? But I agree with what you're saying. Uniqueness, I feel like we should all just agree to give it to Crystal. We don't need to go around, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great, perfect. Nerve,
I'm giving it to Jada for choosing such a hard woman to make over and doing so well.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of it that way. That makes a lot of sense for me. And for like her nerve of just, I don't know, like being so open, like a good kind of nerve on that.
Suter?
I'm giving nerve to the Star Wars girl for ruining the Star Wars franchise.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, there's definitely a pause delay. It's gone frozen.
You're okay. Carry on. It's fine.
Oh, sorry. I'm really confused then. Yeah, but like, if I actually have to give nerve to someone, I think I'll give nerve to Gigi for the preview for next week. Because when she was like, I can't believe I'm only safe. Because that, come on, you're not that special. Your mummy told you was, and she made you all the lovely clothes, but you're not that special.
Oh, you really don't like it, do you? I'm going to give you nerve for that, to be fair.
I don't believe me. I feel like I've been because my top two were Sherry and Gigi, right? And both of them have let me down in extraordinary. Sherry more so, admittedly, but I know me really good. Normally, the one I say I want them to win gets really far and does really well, and they normally like them. And Gigi's the first person I've ever gone boom and let me down. It's like I love Raven, but she was a bitch from the start. I don't like it because it's not shade either. It's like spoilt bratness, and no one likes a spoilt brat. I mean, everyone's like a brat, just not a spoiled one.
Okay. So I'm gonna give my talent to RuPaul for that look. But she put like nothing into herself, but it was a really great look, right? We all loved it. We've got to talk about it, so I thought I'd bring it up.
No wonder RuPaul likes Gigi.
That's fair. She is, to be fair, she is the Gigi.
Gigi's mum made RuPaul's dress.
She's not that good.
I'm giving my talent to Gigi's mum.
I was going to say the same. Yeah.
You're copying me from last week now. You're copying me from last week.
Oh, really?
I mean, I feel like Gigi's mum is
I
just
said
like
last week. I said I'm giving my talent to Gigi Good's mother.
That was original.
Okay, Bob.
Oh yeah, the same as Horatio. Like Gigi's mum, and yeah. There you go.
Fair Suter.
Talent. Yeah, Gigi's mum. We saw this trend. Let's go with it. Hashtag Gigi's mum. Justice. Prize money for Gigi Good's mum.
Fair. She's officially got it going on. So Kurt is saying C Heidi, U Crystal, N Heidi's partner. I don't know her name. T Jada. Fair. Okay.
That's fair.
I think that's fair. Also, let's move on to recommendations because while I'm in the thing, Kurt wants to recommend his Instagram, which is at Mr_Forbey, Forbey, because he wants to, and I respect that. So, guys, who has a recommendation? Put your hand up if you do. No one's got any recommendations. Sue, you got anything to recommend?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 12, and it's good.
That's my favorite
It's a
one.
very great. Oh, I love it. I'm grinding like crazy on it. Like,
Same.
I realize I've over leveled. I'm literally on Osmond playing at level 40.
Oh, nice. We should like not have this conversation on this stream, but like it's my favorite Final Fantasy game. Just a quick recommendation from me, because this is a lot of podcasts as per Science Versus, which I've been listening to for years. They've been doing like a really interesting series on COVID-19 for like the last few weeks. And like I don't know, like it's not like the most fun, but it's just like pretty like direct and to the point and like factual and like covering different areas of it. So it's just like that's kind of the way I'm keeping up to date with it is through that podcast because it's like I don't know, I think I've done it well, so I'd recommend that. Westworld season 3. I need to watch that. Yaz is trying to get me to watch that. I need to watch it. Oh, also, sorry, actually, a better recommendation maybe. No, that first recommendation is good. But Kingdom on Netflix is a Korean like Walking Dead kind of vibey show. It's really good, really really good. Highly recommend it. Cool. Oh, go on.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen it, but it looks really good. It's called Cursed Films or Cursed Movies. What is the platform that it's on? Let me have a quick look. Cursed Films. It's in Shudder. I don't know what Shudder is. It sounds like some sort of platform. But it's a documentary about cursed films, basically like The Exorcist, Apocalypse Now, Poltergeist, all of those. I haven't seen it. I can't really recommend it, but it looks really good if you like that sort of thing. Dan loves that sort of thing.
Cool. That sounds good to me as well. Kurt is saying any good horror movies if he wants to scare. I watched Invisible Man recently. I thought that was really, really good. I definitely recommend that, the new version of it. But yeah, should we sign off for the week?
A proper recommendation. I'll just give a recommendation. I mentioned it's got 22 reviews, so I'm not sure if it's on. But at the minute, there's a load of drama going on with Jeffree Star and Davi Vanity, and whether you're into that stuff or not, I think it's really important to go check it out because I'm a big Jeffree Star fan. But if I will say trigger whatever. It does involve allegations of underage molestation, and what's worrying me is that we need to be careful that no matter how much you like a celebrity, don't let them get away with being involved in stuff like that, or because there's a lot of shifty stuff going behind the scenes. Jeffrey's like seems to be manipulating Chris Hansen, the guy famous for outing stuff. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that. So I recommend looking into it.
Sorry, say again.
Is that the guy whose house we saw at your house?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's the one. That's the guy.
But basically, there's allegations that he knew about someone sleeping with underage girls when they were banned back on a tour together. But now that he's like big and famous, he's twisting it into that he didn't. And I don't know, something's funny about it. So I recommend looking into it. I don't want him to get away with it.
See, I don't know. Like, I understand why you're saying that. I've also like watched a lot about it as well, like including the podcast with what's he called, Keemstar and that. I think it's really difficult to say that though. Like he did have some sort of knowledge in any way because
I mean just to inform yourself on it. Because I know loads of things. Like I'm not watching that because it's Jeffree Star. I don't care if he did anything wrong. It's like, well, inform yourself on stuff. Like if there's anything, just keep up to date with stuff. I suppose I'm saying on because there's loads of good smaller channels on YouTube like this one that are giving good content out. So just check that out and don't. I don't know. It's not so much a recommendation as concern, I suppose.
As I'm saying, I get what you're saying, and that sort of stuff does interest me. But I think it is difficult because, like, he bullshitted so much in the past. He can use that as an excuse to be like it was all bullshit, and there really is no way to know because it's just impossible to know. I think unless something else comes out. I'm definitely following it, but anyway, so yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for getting involved.
50 likes and we're streaming it.
And yeah, thanks. Like, get involved in chat. Continue conversation down below. We're trying to do the same time. We're trying to do the same time every week. So like 8 o'clock next Saturday. Oh, drag quiz tomorrow. Seasons 1 to 4. If you're on Zoom, so anyone get involved. Like, have a camera if you can. But if it's not necessarily a requirement, so we'll do it live on Zoom, but we won't be able to stream it at the same time, I don't think. So we'll probably just upload a recording of it afterwards. So you have to jump on the Zoom meeting. But I'll put up a video with the details in the description, so look out for that if you want to get involved. So yeah, but if not, take care. Have a good week, few days or whatever, and see you guys next week, hopefully.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Lovely seeing you guys in the comments and on screen.